Well, it's great to see you again. Unfortunately, it's on the end of a camera still. It's a year ago since we chatted, believe it or not. Let's go back to the start, though, if we may, Lauren. I mean, you've got an interesting background in laser optics. What made you to divert to where you are now, basically, with an audio-centric company?
When I ended up going to France and meeting with people at L-Acoustics, I found a company that was focused on innovation, had a really open-minded approach to their mission, but very focused and very thought out as well. Everyone I met back in Marcoussis was just extremely smart and very good at what they were doing, and that's really what made me decide to jump and join the adventure with this group of people with L-Acoustics.
You've elevated your role now successfully to CEO. I mean, global CEO. I mean, what does that mean? I mean, what's your favourite aspect of that job now?
The global perspective is something that brings balance and diversity, I think. That's the most interesting aspect of it. So we need to think about a uniform way to approach the business, thinking global but acting locally, and that diversity of input, these interactions, with the engineers and with the companies on different continents is what I think makes it really interesting.
You're a global company, you have to think locally. Does that mean you've got to keep in touch with all the local distributors, subsidiaries, all around the world to keep an angle on it, or does the team take care of that for you?
One of the things I miss a bit, especially over the past year, has been the direct contact with clients. That's something that I enjoy very much, and it's true I don't get to do that quite as much, although I think I'm planning to start traveling again in June to Middle East and Europe, and later to Asia. So we are going to do that again, but we are relying on very good team who is in very close contact with the network, and within the organization we try to stay in touch as much as possible.
For many years now, Christian has devised an executive management team, which obviously you're heading. Can you tell me more about that management team, how it operates?
It's a group of 12 key individuals that Christian has started to groom actually decades ago. And what I think makes them special, and the way maybe Christian has kind of identified those people, is that they're both thinkers and doers. We know each other very well. We know we can rely on each other, but also challenge each other when we don't agree on some direction. And I think it gives the company some independence of thinking, and sometimes allows us to do things that are for the long-term value and position of L-Acoustics, and probably would not be compatible with some short-term returns, that external investors would demand.
2020, what a year. We thought you'd be suffering because obviously touring stopped and still hasn't properly resumed. But my word, what a year it's been. K3 came out. Where did that come from? We had Creations, we had the Contour XOs. I mean, bravo to you. You've kept to the roadmap, and sure there's more to come. But tell me from your own point of view and a company point of view, perhaps, where it's been hard this year for you to get to negotiate over the last 12 months?
The hardest part, I think, of 2020, of course, was to see the industry being shut down. I mean, that was very hard on everybody, and it was very difficult from our standpoint to see the whole industry, the freelance engineers, the crews, all of a sudden, being out of resources. And there's only so much that we could do. We got involved with remake events and organizations, but we also had to take care of our own employees, and that was our first priority, of course. But from a development standpoint, in fact, the pandemic, I feel, kind of accelerated some of the ideas and developments that we had already in mind. All of a sudden, the idea of bringing the concert home that we had developed with L-Acoustics Creations became a reality and something that everybody was talking about. Some collaborations like the one with JH Audio and Contour XO, for example, I think would have taken a lot more time if it wasn't for the pandemic. K3 was already in the works, so that was, we just went on with the release, and it was important for us to announce installation-specific products, which continued to happen during those times.
I think everyone in the market has their own sort of perspective of how they see L-Acoustics. Tell us what the brand means to you. Why is it so special?
The brand really belongs to the users and to the clients. They're the ones who make the brand. So I think our users, engineers and clients really associate L-Acoustics with performance and innovation. I think they recognize that we are dedicated to making products that are not me-too products, that are in a way disrupting and always improving. Our model being focused on quality, performance, European manufacturing model, all the R&D that goes into this. I think our clients realize that this requires a higher level of investment to begin with, and so it may not be for everyone, but that makes, I think, L-Acoustics an aspirational brand.
How do you plan effectively for the future and, the customers' needs, how it may change from here?
There's been a bit of a shift, I think, in the pandemic in terms of the thinking. I think we're seeing there are some talks about making touring more green, and we see a lot of venues getting equipped with equipment that can be compatible. It can be rider friendly, that can host some tours and various artists. So I think we're trying to follow this with more installation-friendly, products. We're going to continue to do this. I think we also have some pretty incredible innovations in the pipeline that I think for the next few years are going to also again bring some really interesting developments to the industry. The push for immersive audio, I think, is here to stay. I think we see this at different level, professional level, consumer level. So, accessibility is a big push for us and a big question. Accessibility to Elisa, for example. We recently rolled out the Elisa Studio software, which makes it a lot easier to create content for immersive audio, which I think has been one of the limitations for the widespread implementation of the technology. So this is a big step towards that. We also believe in creating a full ecosystem, from design to modeling to calibration. So wherever the premium audio experience is going to be valued and enjoyed, I think we want to be.
What are you going to do once these restrictions are lifted? Because you said you're going to go out to Asia and Europe and get on the road again. Is that what you've missed most, or is it far more than that?
Yeah, well, I mean, personally, it's the biggest challenge has been the lack of travel. I think my parents are in France, and I have not seen them for about a year and a half now. So it's personally that's been for sure a challenge. But professionally, also, the lack of travel means the lack of physical interaction, and we're in the business of connecting people, right? Of collective experience. I think for all of us, that's been really a challenge to feel isolated and the lack of human connection and human interaction. So that and I have to say, hearing K1 on the main stage festival and that chest thumping kick drum.
It'll bring tears to the eyes, won't it, when we're back there again? It's been so long.
Yeah, being able to go back to concerts and share again those experiences with others is something that very much look forward to.